got it, man. Hey, everyone. Welcome to BowHunterPlanet Outdoor Podcast. I'm Tim. This is Dave. We are with XOP Outdoors, and today is Launch Day.
Before we get started today, I just want to say a special shout out to the companies who make this show possible. XOP Gear, who's making really great tree stands and harnesses and saddles, tree climbing sticks. They got pretty much everything you need to get up in the air as a bow hunter and get it done. I want to thank Trophy Ridge to help us bring all the rest you see in this show all the time. Of course, the Whisker Biscuit, what I consider king, because we're always using it here on the show, of course. But Trophy Ridge is also giving you 20% off. If you need it, go ahead and take it. Use code BHP2025. Take 20% off on their website today. You won't be disappointed, and it'll help hook you up.
Loving what we're going to see. I know we got a little glimpse of what's coming out, but we're here and we're ready to talk about it.
Yeah,
How you guys doing?
The floor is yours.
The floor is ours. Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, you take
Don't even know what to do with this.
This could go off on a really quick tangent. I'm not sure if I like this all that much.
Yeah. There's so many things I don't even know where to start. That's the hard part.
Well, let's do this. Let's kind of talk about. Let's do a little quick introduction of XOP. Some people may not have heard of you guys yet.
Idea.
So we let's bring that to the table. What you guys do, what kind of products you put out, kind of the history of XOP. So why don't we start there? Then we'll move on to the exciting stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, XOP's been around for quite some time now, like going on 8, 9, 10-ish years, somewhere in that ballpark. Long before I was here. I've only been here about 3 years now, but making all sorts of climbing sticks, tree stands, harnesses, all that stuff, backpacks, everything you need to take out and go hunt in a tree. So that's kind of the gist of it, right? And we've grown a lot. We've had a lot of changes over the years. From really, a lot of that is from a marketing standpoint, but also from a product development standpoint. We've started doing a lot more of that over the last 3 to 4 years, really pushing the boundaries of the product, what they're capable of, what they can do, how you can use them, even all that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that stands out for us quite a bit is the quality. What you guys put into the development of the products that you're putting out there. We've seen a lot of stands, obviously. We've seen a lot of saddles, a lot of every harnesses, all that. Everything that we put our hands on from you guys is just, it's up there in the top echelon of just quality, going out there and being able to use it. And shoot, man, sometimes you don't even want to use it. It just looks so good sitting on the floor over here.
There you go.
I purposely, actually, it's funny because I left a stand outside. The first stand you guys ever sent me, I actually put up in my backyard, and I purposely left it out there to take on the elements. I literally was like, you know what? This is kind of like a test. Let's just leave it out there all year round, and let's just see what happens. And I'll be honest with you, it's hard to tell. It's been sitting there over a year. It's pretty impressive. And it's still, the seats you guys use are so comfortable. I don't think people, maybe don't give you enough credit for that, but the seats are just so awesome. Like, I really enjoy just sitting in the stands. They're so comfortable, and not to mention lightweight, of course. But.
And you did a little saddle hunting last year too, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Saddle was interesting. I loved it. I thought your system works very well. But it's also one of those things where I wasn't used to saddle hunting, so it's still new to me in the sense of I wouldn't call myself a saddle hunter yet, but
hunters,
I could do
debatable.
It. Yeah.
I love it, but you guys put out some good stuff. Anything from mobile hunting systems all the way through every accessory, your stands, your platforms, climbing sticks, all that stuff. One thing I wanted to pause on real quick was the saddles, because one of the things that we've seen in the industry is saddles have really become more and more popular. And I was wondering if you guys have seen the same thing.
Yeah, certainly so. We have seen we made our first saddle was about 3-4 years ago now, and that has only grown. It's become a big part of what we do, from the saddles, saddle platforms, all of that stuff has just been a massive growth. And I see that as a continuing thing. I think that there's a lot of value in that. And as you keep exploring that method of hunting, I think it'll be interesting to see where it takes you, for sure.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked a little bit about it. It's like almost like the hunting community is getting a little bit back to basics, if you will. you know, a little bit more rustic, if you will, because we've seen saddles kind of come up at the same time that traditional archery has really come up, right, over the last 3 or 4 years. So
I also think it's interesting though. Saddles to me were interesting because it's almost like just a special way of hunting. And I say that because we talk about mobile hunting, right? And the thing is though about XOP is everything's mobile. Like your whole systems are mobile. It doesn't even matter. Like if you guys did a hang on instead of a saddle, it's still a mobile system. Like literally I could go up those sticks and put up one of your stands. It doesn't even matter which one, 'cause to be quite fair, they're all lightweight. So like I could throw it up, get in that stand, get off that stand on those sticks, take that stand down with a lineman belt, right? Have something to hold me up and come down right away the same day, just like I could if I was doing the saddle.
Right.
And so one of the things about the saddle hunting to me was it wasn't necessarily necessary. It was fun to do and different feeling. It just depends on what you want as a hunter. Now, if I was leaving the sticks, I would say it makes more sense, like for me, like if I had my own land. But I think they're really made more for like the state land hunter, you know, because that's how I use it on state land. I want state land, went up, did the sticks, did the saddle, undid everything, took it all back down, packed it all back out, right? So like, but my point is, if I'm doing that, I could just as easy pack their new Roam that they're going to talk about in a little bit, you know, as anything else, because it's like so light, you can barely feel it. You know?
So, yeah, I would agree. There's been a huge push of, and Brock and I we were actually just talking about this, about a big push back to the basics and like, why do we do stuff? I think for a long time we've gotten distracted, if you will, by all like big bucks and chasing them and hunting the rut and the rutcation and chasing the rut across the country, which all those things are good and wonderful, right, in their own space. But there's also something to be said about bringing the adventure back to it, for the everyday guy. I think one thing that Brock and I have done, like we have similar mindsets of like, let's endure the suck and let's do it on a budget too. Let's do these cool things on a budget so that way anybody who watches one of the films we put together, whether it's Santines or some of the new ones we're working on too, from Nebraska to the deer camps, all of those things can be done for the everyday person. And I think a lot of people want to get back to like just doing it not for a score, but just doing it because it's you want to explore, and get back to that exploring type. And to your point, the mobile hunting style allows you to do that. So we can hike in with all of our stuff. We've got a hunt where we're going to pack everything in on our backs, go way out in the boonies, and then mobile hunt from a camp from there. And it's right here. It's in the Midwest. It's anybody can go up and do it. $16 permits on the, and so it's like, but to bring the modern twist of these, the flies, the Superflies, the Roam, even the Invader, the Mutant saddle, to bring the technology side to it and to apply, all that we learned. It's kind of like the idea of giving a Civil War person an AR-15, right? Like it's like, hey, go, good luck, and kind of bringing that same kind of style, right? Of like, hey, go see what you can do now, because we've talked to I was just talking to a buddy at work. He's hunted kind of that similar area. He's like, yeah, we'd get our big heavy climbers and go climb and sit all day in the same spot. And if you saw a deer, it was a great day. We were just excited to get back to the hot tub. And so it's like the idea of like, okay, you can take that same thing of going out into these boonies where the adventure is to be had, where people haven't been seen potentially, and but apply the mobile hunting style to, kind of like a mix between Western hunting too, but using the tree stands and everything. And so I think it kind of revitalizes everybody's hunting heritage, or it can revitalize somebody's hunting heritage. You can go back to the farm you grew up hunting and say, hey, I'm not going to hunt any of the any of the preset stands. I'm just going to go hang.
The OGs.
Yeah, the OGs. I'm just going to go explore, like a property you've been on or an area you've been to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And go back, like you said, on the state land. And it offers so much adventure in simply doing the same thing or the same area. But hey, you go out with a saddle, it's going to be an adventure because you're like, well, I hope I don't end up upside down, But
Yeah.
not that they would, but like I know we get that a lot from people, and I think it's been cool to see people start to understand that, hey, a saddle is just a small piece to this whole toolkit, and that's what we want to provide, right? Like, it's a tool. You're not going to be able to use an impact driver for every job, right? You need the drill still, you need the hammer, you need the screwdriver for some of them. And I think too many people got into the craze of like, this does everything. And it does a lot. It does really a lot of stuff. But it's ultimately still just a tool to use. And I think that people are starting to come around to that and understand that. So we'll be here waiting for you, kind of a deal, So
I think to your point, like that kind of thing flows throughout your whole product line, right? And I don't know if you'd agree with me or not, but I think there's an element to there being an ability to get back to basics, like you said, but there's also the element of life has just gotten busier, right? And so for me to go out and hunt on a weekend, I don't have time to prep stands. I don't have time to do all this prep work like I used to do, right? So there's this element of having a mobile system, regardless of whether that's saddle or stand, whatever it is, allows you to be that weekend warrior a little bit more and a little bit easier and get into those spots that you wanted to get into but didn't have time to prep for.
I mean, for me, it's been the thought of what you mentioned. It takes me back while you were talking about that. It took me back to my state game areas when I was younger, and we used to set up those stands months and months ahead of time. And once the deer locked in on that stand, you were donezo. Realistically, I mean, at least for any sort of nice deer you're trying to hunt. And so, like you said, it would have been so much work to move one of those stands at that time because everything was heavy, everything was bulky, hard, heavy metals, just real, terrible experience. But having this type of experience where you could go mobile and move that whole set pretty quickly and easily is super important. And also picking a different area, right? So, like, for instance, like it could be as simple as you're sitting in your spot. A deer comes out at 30 yards or let's say 45 yards, no shot through some bushes, and you're sitting there a little longer and another deer does the same thing. Well, maybe you have a deer run 35 yards from you in thicket that you need to move over towards, right? So then the next day you could pull it down at lunch, go move over real quick, and you're in the position now. And I think it's as simple as that, having that ability to move quick, whether it's a saddle, whether it's a roam, doesn't really matter. I guess just depends on how you want to do it. Obviously, a climber is another option, but that one's a little different because I think most climbers, I would assume yours as well, you still have to, have a tree that's got nothing in the way because you can't disconnect, I don't think, while you're moving. But either way, at least you can move. It's that mobility.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that I found as we've done these hunts more and more on public land in these traditional areas, a lot of times we're going into spots where there's an old 2x4 platform tree stand in a tree, or we're by it, right? We're within like 100 yards. So to your point, those spots are great spots. Like, but they just, now we have the right tools to make those spots truly a great hunting spot. And, 100%. To that point of where you're sitting on the backside of it, even with the fly and the Superfly, you're able to use those just like a saddle, essentially, because of their lightweight and their size. It's so usable for any application that, honestly, on these hunts, like we usually bring one setup in, but that's half the dilemma is like, okay, which one though? Because they all can work great. So I think to prove that point, it really feels like we have the right toolkit to make those spots even, you can finally hunt them right and catch that big buck. I think.
100%.
So let's see some product, guys. What are we doing here? What are we launching? Let's see some stuff. I'm ready.
Yeah, the brand new stuff. So we've got, I think we sent you the Roam, and then you playing with that.
Yes.
I wish I had some stuff here. Brock doesn't
tell
allow
us
me
what
to
we
have
got.
anything.
Yeah.
So-
Okay.
I was
So
like,
we've got
you
a
caught me off
lot.
guard for a second.
Is that trust or supply though? Which one is it?
It's trust. It's fully. He doesn't. I'm not authorized with the company card yet, so we'll see that.
Tom's always the last one to get them for whatever reason. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
I know what that's
he
like,
is.
Tom. It's okay.
Yeah, sorry, Tom.
So,
But we do have a lot. So the
Yeah.
I think the one I want to talk about the most is the Superfly, because that is personally my favorite of all of these. And so do you guys remember the retrograde that we had previously?
Yes, sir.
It's very similar in size. It's a little bit bigger. It also has these wings on the back to really take it into that idea of the hybrid guy who wants to run a saddle in it and might want to position around the tree. But the cool thing about this one is it's got a really big seat and it weighs 5.3 pounds.
What does it mean to be unrivaled? To be unrivaled isn't about winning a trophy. It's about putting in the hours that nobody else sees. To be unrivaled isn't just a choice, it's a lifestyle. It's to push yourself to be your best day in and day out. Gas bowstrings. Be unrivaled.
Let's dig into the Superfly a little bit, because you said this thing is only 5.3 pounds. That is absolutely ridiculous for the size seat, for the size system it is.
Yep. Yeah, it is. So, I mean, the seat itself is right around, I think it's 13 inches wide by about 9 inches deep, which is pretty big. I mean, it's almost as big as our mesh seat that we offer as a replacement seat for the Cold World and Retrograde. So you get a lot of extra comfort from that, which is awesome. I mean, because of where we wanted to focus these things on is that lightweight but comfortable, right? That really making sure that we weren't sacrificing that for the weight, like was important for us. There's also some really cool features that are in this that are very new. So this one does not come with a cam strap. Instead, we have NanoCore, which is a rope really similar to like Amsteel or Dyneema, if you're familiar with those. And we have a certain cleat attachment that is integrated into the stand. And it's really simple, really user-friendly. You go around the tree, wrap it around the button twice, and then lock it into the cleat. So it also saves a tremendous amount of weight. I mean, and going along with that, it's very functional. So it's a lot easier to use than a cam strap. You're not having to fiddle with pulling out slack or trying to get enough around the tree. You just pull it around and simply do it, and it locks it in really, really tight. So probably my favorite feature of that whole stand is that. We also updated the shelf lock too. The previous one you had to screw it in, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. So you screw it all the way in, screw it all the way out. This one we're utilizing the same system, except for it's just a quarter turn now. So you just have to turn it one quarter, and it will lock that shelf into place, which is
Quick and easy.
So, yep.
Yeah.
So
talk a little bit about the color scheme, because that's something that everybody's going to notice right away.
So this was a huge internal debate with everybody. We talked about it amongst, I mean, more people than we should have, honestly, because it's kind of a strange thing to do. You know, I mean, like most tree stands you see they're going to be brown, green, or gray of some sort, maybe black you might throw in there. But we wanted to have some fun with it, and orange seemed like a good option. And so I was actually pretty against it right off the get-go until I saw what they looked like, and then I was like gung-ho on it. It was like, this has to happen. And I think that was like everybody's opinion was the same way. It was like, I don't think we can imagine how good it actually looked. Yeah.
It's so I'm excited about this too, because it's so far out there that it, like, when Brock first brought the idea to me, I thought he was nuts. Like, it was just, it's crazy. And like he said, once we saw it in the tree, it's like, okay, this is this is something. Like, this will work and work well and blend well even, but it's even just visually, it's like, you can't mistake that going forward.
You know, you can't, but it's that still that hunting thing though.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like that hunter orange. It's almost like it was meant to be. You know, everything was supposed to meant to be that color. Like, it should just be there that way, right? When you think about like using a gun out of it and stuff like that. And in fact, I kind of like it because you have it strapped to your back. It kind of sticks out a little bit too.
It looks,
you know,
good,
especially
though.
when you're
Really good.
yeah, of course. But when you're walking around the woods and stuff like that, so that's kind of cool. But I got a question. You said that when Brock brought it to you, you thought he was crazy. Does that happen often?
All the time. That's we joke about that all the time.
All the time.
Brock, I was not an aider guy. I didn't like colors. I like drab colors. I like all, and he's changed me on those. Like, aiders are an incredible tool. They have to be used right. You have to know what you're doing. You have to practice, but they're an incredible tool to shave some weight. Colors, and this again was we utilize our like you guys, like, we utilize our internal team of people so much, as far as like, hey, we're thinking this idea. Like, we really take in ideas and opinions of our team, and they speak into our products, and they become a part of the products, right? So the more I heard other people say, hey, it's not going to matter, it's, you know, all this and everything, it's like, Brock's yet again, I have to give him another time of being right, unfortunately. So
well, it pops, but it pops in a good way.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I think you're dead on
this
with
one's
that
cool.
one, man.
Right. It's not quite enough to be hunter orange. It's still dull enough to be like that orange kind of the fall anyways.
Yep.
So just,
that's a good way to put it. Yeah. It fits for sure.
Yeah.
It fits the theme. It fits the look. And I think you said that we're going to see that throughout some of the rest of the ones that we're going to talk about too. Right?
Mhm.
Yes, yeah. So the next one down the line is the Fly.
Yeah.
It's very similar in size to the Culper, right? So it's a little bit narrower, but like maybe by an inch is all, and a little bit longer, but only by about an inch and a half, I think. So again, really similar size. It offers the same size seat as the Superfly at that 14 or 13 by 9, and that same cool attachment system, right? So really honing in on trying to make this as lightweight and efficient to put up and carry out to the woods, but keeping that comfort as well as a part of the equation. This one is 5.8 pounds, so it's a little bit heavier, but there's a lot of extra platform space there. So this one's really built for the guys who want to sit in it like more like a traditional tree stand, whereas like the Superfly is more for the hybrid hunter who wants to use a saddle in it, but also have that capability to run it like a tree stand if they want to.
I just want to point out, just real quick, and I just want to give some credit here because it's very, very cool. And I know Brock probably came up with this, but like the artistic part of this, just incredible. Putting the word "fly" like where you put it, I just thought, and the box itself. When I almost did a video just on the box. I'm like, look at this sweet art on this box. My son's like, this is so cool, Dad. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's the details that matter,
The details so awesome on
and
this.
you can definitely tell you guys put a lot of thought in pretty much everything you do.
Yeah.
I like the Fly from the standpoint of I got a lot of friends that they'll tree stand hunt. They like to stand, right, and just stand up for a little while, look around, and I think that's a great play. You got that wider platform, that longer platform, so it gives you that option to stand up a little bit and twist and turn and get that back flowing again from sitting down. So love it. So what's next? What do we got next?
I think we keep going down the line of the tree stands. So the Roam, that's, again, I mean, it's really similar in size to the Fly. It's pretty much the same platform. It's got that mesh seat standard on it. It's got the upgraded shelf lock on it as well. This one has traditional buttons, but it comes with a new item that we're also talking about later, but I guess we can talk about it now. It's the C3 micro buckle. So that functions just like a cam strap. It's really similar in function and how it works. The cool part about it is it's made out of that nanocore material webbing that we have, and it only weighs a little over like 3.1 ounces, I believe. So very functional, and there's a lot of familiarity with it. So if you're used to using a cam strap and you like that method, this is an easy upgrade to help shave a few ounces out of your system if you want to. But it comes standard with a roam. Again, that one's super comfortable at 7.7 pounds. So, and that's kind of what I think some of the lighter ones on the market are right now is right at that weight. So, kind of works well in that regard, but also comes standard with that mesh seat over top of the seat pad cover, all that jazz. So
yeah, I'll say real quick, since I actually touched the roam, I would say that first off, when I touched it, you guys had not sent me the spec sheet, so I had no detail right at that moment when I was playing with it. But I thought that's what I thought was this. I opened it up. I was like, cool box. That's number one. Number two, lightweight. I was like, man, this thing's pretty light. I love the color scheme of it. When I saw it, I was like, wow, this looks different than the other one. I sat in it. I felt very comfortable, as I do with all your stands. I'm not going to lie. The seat is so cozy in those stands. But getting in and out of it, no problem. I like that it can fold up. I love that you put that little quick turn on the top now with your hand. You can just use your hand to do it. I thought that was unique and different. I also love the fact that you guys kept the pitch stuff where you can change the pitch if you had to real quickly on the cable system. Yeah, very well done. And it's a lot of room because it's a little bit bigger. So you got plenty of room to stand up, turn, take a shot, sit back down, whatever.
That mesh seat too it adds some comfort for sure.
Very comfortable.
I think for nice just an average guy who's looking for like, hey, I just need one do-all from private land to public land. If you've got to pick one stand, because of the micro buckles, to me, those you can, and then you put that on like the guide scout pack. And it's like you have your whole system that you need with the X2s or the Hydros. And that roam is, it feels funny to say because of the other ones that we have available too. But that roam, for whatever reason, I'm most excited about to see what it does, because I think it's going to help so many people who are like, hey, I want to get into the mobile hunting game, but I'm not sure. I don't know how much I'll actually do it. So like you could hang this and leave it too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then pull it after season and stuff too. So it allows people to do so much. And we've had a blast messing around with that one.
So the Revolt is, a long time coming, and we've gotten a lot of flack for that because we released that on ACA years ago as a kind of concept that we were working on. And then we kind of just kept going down a road, and that road got longer and longer. But in all honesty, it was like very necessary. And had we not let it go so long, we would have never arrived with what we have right now. And I think there's a lot of really exciting and cool things about it. It packs flat. That was something that was original in the original concept. So obviously, we wanted to keep that. We were able to cut the weight down from 15 pounds to 11.7. Right, so that's all things included. The seat,
that's super. That's both top and bottom.
Yeah, both top and bottom, and everything else you need to hunt with it the way that it's intended to be used. Right, so so cool. It's also really big for the size, the weight that it is. It comes in, I think, 27 by 18.5 or 19. And the seat is like 14 by 8 or 9, something like that. So similar in size to the other seats, the mesh seat as well. Playing off that idea of lightweight, comfortable, right? Wanted to keep that theme through all this stuff. So that has been a huge, huge part of that. The cool part of this is we moved the way that it hinges. So the hinge is now, instead of having two torque knobs to undo, there's only one. It's directly in the center of the top and bottom platform, so making it just a little bit more efficient, but it's also a lot easier. It folds down really nice and easy. You're not having to fiddle or get stuck on one side. That used to happen with our old climbers, the way that they were put together. So we wanted to try to avoid that. It's got a cam lock on the side for the belt now, so those cam locks, there's also a safety feature built in, so it actually latches into place. It can't open up accidentally or pop out, which again is just a really awesome and cool feature. So the whole thing has been a lot of fun to work on, and I'm most excited about this one by far out of all the things we've done, and I hope everybody else is just as happy with it as I've been and using it out in the field, and everybody we've had testing it has been so far too. So
I love a good climber. Let's talk about this hydro, because I am just like, can't believe what I'm seeing here.
So the hydros, there are new climbing sticks. So this one is really cool. They are sold in sets of 2, which is a little bit different, but they also come with the reactor 3-step aider. So that means you're able to climb 16 feet to maybe a little bit more, depending on how tall you are, with 2 sticks.
Dude, that's
which is cool.
Sweet.
So the standoff is still pretty generous. We didn't want to sacrifice that too much in order because we wanted it to stay really climbable. It's got like 4 1/4 instead of our traditional 5. So you're cutting out about a 3/4 of an inch of that. But they're 18 ounces, and then they also come with a nanocore and a cleat. So it attaches the same way as our tree stands do. So if you get familiar with one, it's going to be a really easy transition to the next. But those are really cool. Those are I had a lot of fun using those for the last couple of years, and they're kind of hard to beat. And once you get used to using an aider, that is just leaps and bounds above having to carry out 4 sticks and set 4 sticks.
So I was thinking,
it just makes it more efficient and makes it a lot easier to get up the tree. So,
and mobile.
That's it.
Mobile.
100%.
Completely mobile. That is the coolest thing. Let me ask you something. How do I, because you're skipping a step in the middle, how do I attach them? Do I stand on the top of the one and then put the other one like this and then drop it down?
Yeah, that's how I do it. Yep.
Okay. I love it. I love that idea. Oh my gosh. That's when I saw this. I was like, what the heck is this?
I've never seen anything like that.
No.
That's some crazy design. It's awesome.
Never seen the leader thing like that. That is so unique. Oh my gosh. And it ties off.
The aider's pretty cool too, because that's only it's a 4-ounce aider, and I kind of designed that one off of some climbing stuff. There's aiders in the climbing world, there's aiders in the hunting world, but there's also these things called quick draws, and the way that they're sewn together creates a really rigid space without adding any extra material in there. So all the steps are created the same way, so that stays rigid and keeps wide while you're stepping in it and bounces back into that same position when you step off of it.
Wow.
So you never have to worry about your foot, getting caught up or anything like that in there. But it's kind of a cool thing because most of the time you have like a big chunk of like rubber tube in there or other stuff that you have to have in order to keep that expanded out. So we were able to shave a lot of the weight out of there by not having that in there, and then also reducing the webbing size because we didn't have to have it big enough to house those types of materials either. So
sick, man.
I love it, guys. That's seriously one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
What else do we have? You have anything left for us? I feel like you're launching like
stuff.
I feel like you're launching like you're just redoing everything.
This is crazy.
It is. Yeah. This is a huge launch for us. I mean,
is this the biggest one you guys have ever done?
This is the biggest one we've ever done, and like it's good. I mean, every year we try to come out with a tremendous amount of stuff, but this one, I mean, I think we have like 12 items total that we're dropping, and
it's a lot of new SKUs, man.
Yeah, the hard part is like, we try to limit ourselves. Every year we're going to
figuring out the inventory flow.
Yep. And we're going to do 4 items, and then that's it. And then we get so excited about it that we just keep going down and down and down. By the time we get to the end of it, it's like we did all the product development for 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. It's
wow.
Like, well, I guess we'll just do it. Yeah. Let's just drop it all. I mean, it's all done.
Might as well. Yeah.
Well, guys, go online and go to xopoutdoors.com. Get yourself some hydros. Get everything going while you have a chance before they sell out, because I'm telling you right now that hydro is going nuts. The people are going to flip.
It's pretty
They're
cool.
going to flip.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time on the Outdoor Podcast right here from BowHunterPlanet.
Okay, that's it. I've had enough.